Hi, Kelly Clement here from Metastock. In this video, we'll be talking more about backtesting. I'll be showing you how you can test multiple systems against multiple securities to see which of your systems is the most profitable against your list of securities. With that, let's go ahead and go into Metastock. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start this video by getting into the system tester to identify which system we're going to use. So what I'll do is I'll click on the system tester tab. You can click there, or you can go up to the top, click on the system tester icon, and then you'll be ready to start. So what we're going to do in this one, we're actually going to take a set of systems and test them against one specific security to start to see which one performs the best. So what we're going to do is actually find these these performance systems found in Metastock. I'll just select the first one, highlight it, come down and select the last one. Now hold down my shift button and select the left mouse button, and that will select all 26 of those. So there's actually 26 performance systems built into Metastock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 26 strategies and put them against one stock to see how they perform. So what we're going to do in this circumstance is we'll just take something like Facebook and test it against that. So I'm going to say these 26 strategies against Facebook, and now we need to tell the system tester how we want to test. So we have an option to say we can trade long, short, or both. So I'm actually going to go both. I'm going to test over the last 1,250 records. So that's about 5 years of data. That lets me look over a long period of time, and I'm looking at a daily chart here. So that's how I know it's about 5 years of data. If I wanted to test over 30-minute, 5-minute, whatever time frame you're looking at, you can change that here, but we're going to just test a daily for today. You can also set specific date ranges in here if you choose to, but we'll just stick with the last 1,250. So now we need to go in and set our trade options. So I'll click Trade Options. Now, we've covered this in a previous video, but just to do a quick overview of it, this first tab we want to kind of leave alone. The account size here, you need to put in what your account size is and how you trade so the system tester can better model around the way that you actually trade. So for my example, I'm going to put I have $100,000 in my account here, and I'm going to say that I'm willing to risk 20% of that equity in that trade. You can set a certain number of units. If you want to say I trade 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares or 100,000 shares, whatever it may be, you can set that here. You can also set transaction cost, which would be how much you're willing to put into a trade, say $10,000 every time. So you can set it that way as well. But we're just going to say percent of available equity, 20%. Broker tab, you can set margin, money, you can set your commissions in here. And then also for trade execution, you can set this as well. So if you haven't reviewed the previous video on backtesting, I'd recommend to go back and watch that to see how all these play in. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and leave the rest of these as defaults. So we'll go ahead and choose OK. And now what I can do is I can just choose summary here just to be sure. So I've got these 26 strategies we're going to put against Facebook to see how they perform. So I'll go ahead and choose Start System Test. You can see it crank away through those pretty quickly. Now this report's going to look a little different than what we had in the previous video. In this video, we're actually looking at, rather than a set of securities at the bottom, we're actually looking at a set of systems because we've tested all these against Facebook. So now I can come in and rank on net profit or percent gain, whichever I choose to do. And you'll see over here on the left that we actually have our system. So I can see this PS Pattern Trading System 1 was the most profitable over time. It had 172 trades, 106 winners with 66 losers. So that sounds pretty good, but let's dive in a little bit more, get a little bit more detail here. So we had 106 winners. There's my average profit of 650 and highest profit of 6,041, average loss of 604, with the highest loss of 39.43. So what I want to do here now is just jump right to my equity line and see how this is performed. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good looking equity line, as we discussed in the last video, that what we have here is we have that smooth, steady increase over time. We do have some drawdown here at the end, so that's a little bit of a concern, but for the most part, it's been a very strong, consistent system. Let's just look at one or two more, and then we'll go into how to really use this now that we've determined which is the best system. So let's look at our equity line here. Okay, so this is a good example of a equity line fake out, as I guess we'd say, because what it's doing here is if we go back, it had a great run up about 5 years ago, and then it's been fairly flat for the last 5 years. So had a great trade and then has just kind of been having trades here and there, but it hasn't really produced any profit. And that's why looking at that equity line is so important, because then you can miss out on, kind of eliminate these fake outs really quickly. So let's go down to the stochastic RSI system here. Look how that one looks. Okay, same kind of thing. We've got a lot of drawdown, a lot of up and downs. It has been working fairly well in the most recent market, so maybe that's a consideration, but that first one seemed to do so well that I probably want to stick with that one. Let's just look at the bottom one just to look at it here. Okay, so that's a good example of what we don't want our money doing right there. So we have an inverse equity line, I guess you'd say, where we went up and it really didn't have any good equity in it at all. It's just lost consistently over time. So the PS Pattern Trading System 1, top system, and adaptive moving average seems to be the bottom system. So what we want to do now is say, okay, well, if I'm going to trade Facebook out of these 26 strategies, I'm probably going to use the PS Pattern Trading System 1. So how would I do that? Well, now I could actually go back. I could close this and we could go up to our chart here and we could open up Facebook. And what we'd want to do is use that expert advisor to let us know when there's a buy or sell signal. Now, the difference between what we've done here, let's pull up Pattern Trading System 1 here. Let's go ahead and click attach. So now we have our buy and sell alerts based off of that trading strategy. So the difference here is versus our last workflow. Our last workflow in the previous video, we actually explored, looked for current signals, and then tested to see what was the most relevant for the trade based off of our current system. Whereas this one, we've said, okay, Facebook, I'm interested in trading, which system is the best? So the disadvantage here is we don't have a current signal, but we can wait for a signal to take. So this would be a good thing to add to a watch list and then come back to and watch for a current opportunity. So I could just right click here and then I can say add this into a custom list. We'll just create a new list here. We'll say system test, create that and click OK. And now up here in the Power Console in the Chart tab, I have a custom list called System Test that I know I can refer back to. Okay, so I can always come back to this chart and look at it again. Okay, so that's one way we can multiple system test. Another way we can multiple system test is to actually take multiple systems like we've already done, but now put it against multiple securities. So what we could do is just say, let's say I want to put it against these sector ETFs here. I'll just go ahead and do these. So I'm going to do 26 systems against 17 stocks to see how they perform. So let's go ahead and run that. So now you can see it's running a lot of tests because we have 26 times 17, and now we're running all these tests to really dive in and find which ones are the most profitable. So that's going to take it just a second to turn through because it's running a lot more calculations. But what we'll see here once we get the result, we'll see overall which strategy worked best against that basket of stocks. So we can actually see a performance of those stocks overall with each individual strategy. So it's kind of a unique way of doing it and drilling down to get a lot more information about what trades we could take. So we're just about through here and we can then look at our results. Okay, so it looks like we're done, ready to go. Let's go ahead and look at our results. Okay, and it looks like we've had some good performance here and we've have some poor performers. So let's see which system works best against that list of stocks. So we're going to rank here, and it looks like the PS CCI Commodity Channel Index was the system that worked best against that 17 list of stocks, that basket of stocks there. So we'll go ahead and view that. Let's go ahead and jump in. And now I can rank and see which one of those within that list actually worked best. So now I can see this iShares Silver worked best within that list. So it's kind of a way to actually drill from one section down to the next, and really let you hone in on great trades. So let's go ahead and open up SLV here, and we'll put on that CCI. We'll do the same thing we just did. So we'll open up SLV, and we'll go into our Expert Advisor, do Attach, and we'll just scroll down till we find the PS CCI system, and then we can plot that indicator on there. So again, you'll need to actually wait for a current signal to be able to use the buy opportunity that way, but it's another thing that you could put into your watch list. So I hope you found this video on backtesting informative and you can use it to apply it to your trading. I wish you successful trading and good luck.